Hi, so we're continuing with concrete as building material from unit 1. Okay, and we were completing the ingredients in concrete, and we had covered cementitious material, and we just started with sand, that is fine aggregates. Again, I would like to repeat, what is fine aggregate? You need to remember this particular thing, 4.75 mm. Anything that is less than 4.75 mm is called fine aggregate. We sometimes use sand as the word. Okay. Now this sand, all these years conventionally we were using river sand, sand that would be mined. The process of extracting sand is called mining only. Okay. So it's called mining of sand. And which sand is this? You take it from the riverbed. Okay. Now mining is a major issue, right? It's creating a lot of environmental disturbances. So government has stopped this, right? So now what we go for is M sand. Okay, now what is M sand? M sand is manufactured sand. Okay, it's produced by crushing hard stones into small sand-sized, angular-shaped, washed and finely graded particles. These are used as aggregates. Okay, why washed? Because we don't want dust. Okay, sand 4.75 mm to 0.75, that is 75 microns, nothing less than 75 microns. Okay, and in fact even if you go anywhere less than around 2 mm, you consider it as fine sand, right? So you don't go very close to this 75 microns. You don't want very fine sand also in the concrete. Okay, although by classification sand is a name given to a size. And what is this size? The size ranges from 4.75 to 75 microns. What is 1 micron? 1 micron is 1,000th of a mm. You can visualize what is 1 mm. Look at your scale and see how much is 1 mm. When you make 1,000 parts of this 1 mm, you get 1 micron. And sand sizes are 4.75 to 75 micron. So you don't want to go to that lower limit. Okay, although that is accepted in the classification, you don't go to that lower limit. You keep it little above only. You try to make it coarse, right? See, the idea is the finest particles in concrete will be cement. Now, whatever and the coarsest particle will be gravel, correct? So, when you make concrete, volumetrically, what is concrete is you have major space occupied by gravel. In between the voids of gravel, you have sand particles going because they are the second largest particles. In between the voids of sand, what goes is the grout, cement and water grout. That is how all the voids get occupied, and once all the voids are occupied, you get a rock solid mass that is called concrete. Right? Now, because river mining has stopped, now we go for this M sand. So you can go for multiple types of stones to create M sand. Okay, you can go for granites, you can go for gravax, okay, metagravax and all. Okay, so when you have crushed it to this particular size, then you use it as M sand. So it can be actually a waste product, a low value product from the mine quarries, right? Mine quarries, the stone quarries. Now stone quarries, what happens? That's also mining, but your main product is stone, and whatever is the remnants, while you give the shape to those stones, when the small pieces of stones are they are practically useless, right? So you crush this small pieces or the waste products while manufacturing stones, and you create M sand. There is absolutely nothing wrong with using M sand. There is a market perception that no, M sand is not good. When we have even seen, I have even heard people saying that don't buy a flat in a particular complex because they have used M sand. There is absolutely nothing wrong. You as civil engineers should promote use of this M sand. Right? Because it is a what you say, it's better for the environment to use this particular type of low value products. You are using a waste of particular industry and making it completely useful. Now, M sand as compared to river sand has certain variation. Okay, little bit of variation obviously will be there, but that doesn't make it a every time when you propose something new, there is a resistance. You don't want to take something new. You still want, people want to stick with something old without understanding that the new thing that has come is actually going to be useful, right? So how do you compare this M sand to river sand? First, manufactured sand versus river sand. So these are a few slides I want you all to understand very well, because this is actually another subtopic. Okay, let's go. I don't want to cover it separately. I'll cover it in this subject itself, in this topic itself. So first and foremost, it's superior in strength. M sand has higher compressive and flexural strength. Due to weathering, natural sand particles are rounded. If you go to beaches or if you go to rivers, wherever the river flows, those stones you will find nice and rounded. Okay, whereas M sand particles are angular and have rough surface texture, allowing better bonding with mortar in concrete, thereby providing strength properties. Now, can you tell me this? Where can this rough texture be a negative property? It will be good way, because when something is rough, it binds well, correct? So when you are using it in the mortar or in concrete, mortar means what? Something which is used in between the bricks while you construct the masonry, or when you are using it in concrete. In both these places, it is good because it's going to hold well, right? It's going to have a rough texture, it's going to have higher frictional surface, so it's going to be better bonding. But can you suggest one place where this can be a negative property? Take a pause this video and think. Where can roughness be a negative property? Alright, it is a negative property when you are using this sand in plasters. What are plasters? Surface rendering. When you are putting it, applying the same mortar and plaster, what is the difference? You are having cement, sand, water in both, mortar as well as plaster. The only difference in plasters is the sand that you are going to use has to be rounded. You don't want angular, you don't want rough sand. When you touch the surface of your wall, you don't want it to be rough. Okay, so that is where this M sand can be a problem. Nowadays, of late, there is a special type of M sand which is manufactured only for plastering. So they give it an additional treatment and make the particles roundish. Mind you, the M sand used for concrete, you should know this because you won't find this anywhere. Nobody will tell you this. M sand used for concreting and M sand used for plastering are different. How they are different is only in their texture, right? Then next is, since it's angular, it bonds well, and obviously when something locks well or bonds well, it will improve on the strength of this, right? Next is better workability. M sand is graded with precision. See, M sand is something which is made in machinery. So you're using machines, you're using crushers to make M sand. What about river sand? River sand is a naturally formed product. So there is always an uncertainty factor related to anything that is naturally produced. It's as simple as how when you take laterite and when you take brick, it is manufactured. So you have the raw materials, you're taking them to the factory or you're taking them to the plant and you are mixing the raw materials. You can stabilize the soil, you can alter the properties of the soil and you manufacture it to a desirable strength. That cannot be done with the laterite. Can you say I will get a laterite of so and so? Whatever is the mine or the quarry yielding, whatever is the type of stone available in the mine, that will be the strength of the laterite. Can you alter it? No, you cannot alter it. Right? You can try to weight, you can season it. I told you, older the laterite, better is the strength. But that is not possible. I cannot say I will get a laterite of so and so strength from my quarry. But I can say I will get a brick of so and so strength from my factory. Right? So there is always, when something is manufactured, you can control its properties. Same thing happens with M sand. You can grade it. What do you mean by grade? Grading means, any particular material. Now if I take sand, there will be particles of various sizes. You visualize taking river sand. You must have seen sieving of river sand on the side. So you get the coarse one on the top and the fine one passes. That coarse one has further on different applications. So we all know when you take sand, river sand, there will be particles of different size. It is also desirable to have particles of different size. Right? Why? Because when you have particles of different size, the smaller size particles will go into the voids created by bigger size, and that's how all the voids get occupied. If you have entire sand of 4.75 mm size, right? Imagine all the sand particles are 4.75 mm size. So what will happen to the voids created in between the 4.75 mm size particles? What will be? It will require only cement to occupy the cement grout to occupy the void. So you will require a larger amount of cement grout to compact, to fill in all the voids. Instead, if let's say some particles are of 4.75, some were of let's say 3, some were of 2, some were of 1. So they would all fill in the gaps created in between, right? And then the consumption, the grout required. What is a grout? Grout is cement and water. The grout required to make a rock solid mass would not be as much as it would be for a see, when you have particles of single size in any material, you call it uniformly graded. Okay, when a particular size particle is missing, then you call it gap graded. So let's say you have all the particles of 4.75 to 3 mm, and then you have 2 to 0.75. So in between 2 to 3 mm particles are missing in the sand. Then it is a gap graded sand. So gap graded is not good. Uniformly graded is also not good. Well graded. Now there is a difference between well graded and uniformly graded. What is uniformly graded? Uniformly graded actually means particles will be of the same size. Whereas well graded particle means there will be particles of all the sizes present in the mass. So anything that is well graded will have lesser amount of voids. Why? Because the smaller size particles will go and fit into the voids created by the bigger size particles. So we do not want gap graded, we do not want uniformly graded materials, right? So when you are manufacturing any type of aggregate in a plant or in a factory, okay, so you have a control in manufacturing particles of all the different sizes. That is how you get better graded sand in case of M sand. Whereas in case of river sand, because it's a naturally obtained material, you cannot control it. You can sieve it and discard a particular size of particles. But controlling grading becomes little difficult because it's a naturally obtained produce. Okay. Now because M sand is well graded, it gives a better workability for concrete and masonry. Right? Next, a particular property is, since it is well graded, it will have, I've already spoken about it, it will consume lesser cement. Okay? Then, M sand is free from impurities such as clay, dust and silt. Okay? If we have to go into depth, this is not in the scope of this particular topic, but there are certain tests which are conducted on fine aggregates. Okay? A percentage of silt, higher percentage of silt is not desirable in case of sand, which is found in case of river sand. Yeah, but in case of M sand, this silt can be completely eliminated. Okay, okay. So M sand is free from impurities like clay, dust, and silt, and it has dense particle packing than natural sand, thereby reducing the voids in the aggregates and saves cement requirement for concrete production. Vastu friendly. Now, for those who believe in Vastu, or if you believe, Vastu is nothing but just a science, okay? It's not something mythological. It just depends on the light and wind direction. It's common sense. Okay. Now, as per Vastu Shastra, construction material should be free from human and animal remains. This is as per Vastu Shastra. But as per science also, you don't want anything that has organic origin in building material. Why? Because eventually it will decompose and it will move out of the system. So when it moves out of the system, what remains behind are the voids. Okay, if you have bones or leaves or any such material of organic origin, it will eventually decompose, break down and move out of the system, and voids will remain. So that is obviously eliminated in case of MCell. Then it is readily available also.